Now before we get into the video, I do want to say a massive thank you to today's video sponsors, and once again that is jerseyfifa.com. They really do help keep the content on this channel going, and they even sent me a free shirt which you can see on screen here. And as you can see, I got the new Manchester United home kit, and genuinely the kit really is top quality. I highly recommend their product. So make sure to get in a link in the description down below, and now if you use code JerseyFifa at checkout, you'll get 10% off your order. You get a great football shirt, and you help support the channel, which I really do appreciate massively. Hey guys, welcome back to the AJ Analysis channel. Now don't worry, this is not part 3 of the game versus Brighton. You guys have suffered enough with that content, so no more, not in this video. I will refer to it a few times, but that's not the main focus today. However, it is still related, because after that performance, I think the world became very aware that Manchester United desperately need midfield recruits. I think United fans knew that already, but like I said, the rest of the world is now really aware of that. And I think we kind of thought that over the next couple of coming days, we would see some sort of progress with a signing or something like that, maybe. Even just leaks just to give us a bit of hope. Maybe Frenkie de Jong or Tielemans or Neves or Milinkovic-Savic. But no. Rabiot.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Rabiot. Rabiot is our saviour. Rabiot is the man who's going to save this football club. So today I'm taking on Mission Impossible because I'm going to try and show you guys the positives of this move and how he could fit in, because it actually looks like the move's going to happen somehow. Let's get started. Now of course, before we kind of figure out how Rabiot fits into the team, we first need to look at the team shape. And as we saw during pre-season and during the Brighton game, it's sort of this 2-3-4-1 or 2-3-5 shape. And the two players that we need to look at are Fred and McTominay. Now, in that Brighton game in particular, this was the weakness that everyone really identified. I think United fans knew it already, but like I said, now the rest of the world knows. Now, this is an issue that United have had for a long time, and a lot of the talk has been about Frenkie de Jong coming in and replacing Fred as the holding midfielder. And I get that people are now concerned that Rabiot is going to come in and play that position instead of someone like Frenkie de Jong. And that obviously isn't the same quality of player. Now, that is very possible that Rabiot comes in and plays this position. He is very capable of playing there. And actually, if he was to do that, he is quite press resistant, which is what United need, because Fred and McTominay do not offer it at all. So having Rabiot in this deepest position as the press resistant player to link the play, it would actually be an upgrade. We can see it in his pictures here, that he picks up the ball and he's put under this little bit of pressure, but quite comfortably he's able to beat his man and draw the foul. And as I keep saying, that's just not something that Fred and McTominay really offer to this United team one bit. So I do think from that perspective, Rabiot would be an upgrade. And he is obviously more than comfortable as playing this deepest role. Now in his career so far, he's done it 73 times. So if Ten Hag did want him to come into a team and play as the deepest midfielder, I think it is something that he would be comfortable doing. He's done it before. However, also what we can see here is that whilst he has played there before, it's not actually his main position, because more often than not during his career so far, he has played as an out-and-out typical central midfielder, doing so 238 times in his career so far. Now if that was the case, that would mean that Fred now comes back into the team, Rabiot moves further forward, and McTominay drops to the bench. Now, typically Rabiot does prefer to play on the left-hand side of a midfield. However, for the purpose of this video, we're going to use him as a direct McTominay replacement, which would mean coming in as this right central midfielder. And again, that is certainly something that he has done in his career so far. Now, the reason I think he is more suited to doing this rather than playing as deepest player is because he isn't a player that naturally drops deep to get on the ball. Now we can see it in these pictures here. Here the ball is wide. Now typically a deep lying playmaker, someone like Frenkie de Jong, would be dropping deep into this area to go get the ball into feet to then move the ball forward. However, if we take a look at Rabiot here, he's just not really interested in doing that. It's not his game to constantly go seeking the ball. He's happy not to constantly get the ball. Now when he does do it, he's out wide. We can see the massive gap in the middle of the pitch here, which again is where we might expect a deep-lying playmaker to be. But no, Rabiot is out here, so I think that shows that he doesn't want to be this deep middle central player, but perhaps playing to one side could be beneficial. Now what this would allow him to do is play a bit like how McTominay has played, so predominantly he's playing slightly further forward, but he does also have this ability to link and get the ball slightly deeper. On top of this, there could be situations where perhaps Dalot has the ball out wide, Fred moves forward because we know that that is Fred's game. He's been used as a holder so far by Ten Hag, but it isn't his strength. So perhaps Fred could occasionally push forward, and then Rabiot drops in here. Now, I think that works because now it's not his main responsibility to be the deep player, but he's still given the license to do so. And again, that is something that we've seen him doing in the past. Here for the French team, again, it was Boubacar Kamara in this game, starting as the central holding player. But now we can see that Rabiot has taken up that sort of position, getting on the ball, and that is something he's comfortable doing. And I think it would suit him a lot more rather than starting here, being given this license to drop in. It's quite a simple rotation with Fred. However, it just moves the opposition about a bit and makes it a bit easier to progress the ball. And that's why I think this role is really suited to Rabiot as a player. Now, the only issue with when he drops in here is that he isn't a progressive footballer at all. Now, what we all know that Manchester United desperately need, I go on about it a lot, is a player that can break the lines with forward passes. Fred can't do it, McTominay can't do it, and United needs someone that can come in and play that role. Martial's feet, Fernandez's feet, Sancho's feet, whoever it may be. Is Rabiot that player? Someone who's going to do that? No, unfortunately he isn't, and we can kind of see it a little bit here. Now here Rabiot picks the ball up and he's got time and space, ability to take a few touches on the ball if he needs to. And whilst, like, Benzema isn't exactly screaming for this pass into feet, I think if Rabiot is a bit more patient, takes an extra touch on the ball, then his forward pass would open up. However, instead he keeps it simple, he does it in 2 touches and moves the ball out wide, and we can see something similar here. There are different forward options that could maybe be on. He could take a touch and roll it out wide here, maybe take a touch and turn and then play into Benzema's feet. But again, no, he wants to keep it simple, and in 2 touches he moves the ball sideways to Boubacar Kamara. So I think we can see that if he was to play this position, then he isn't someone that is particularly going to find Martial's feet. Instead, he's going to keep things simple. Now, that should mean that he's keeping the ball for a side, and again, that is an upgrade on McTominay because McTominay loses the ball a lot. So perhaps Rabiot could do that, come in and do that role, and do a better job than what McTominay does currently. Now, whilst he isn't going to progress the ball with his passing, he will still bring some form of ball progression because he quite likes to carry the ball forward. And on the ball, that is probably his main strength as a player, really driving forward down this channel here or down this channel here, moving the ball forward and making runs off the ball. And actually, that's what we'll look at first, because something we've seen at United already is Sancho getting the ball out wide here, and McTominay makes an underlapping run in behind the defence for Sancho to play the ball. Or perhaps it's Dalot making that run, but it's the same thing. And that is something that Rabiot is very comfortable doing. Now, we've seen it again in this particular France game here against Croatia in the Nations League. This time it's Digne out wide with the ball because of the France setup. And Rabiot is making this run in behind the defence, and it is very similar to the positions that we saw McTominay taking up against Brighton at the weekend. Now, once in this position, at times he delivered, but at times he just didn't have the quality. And I think Rabiot would address that. Now, Rabiot isn't a spectacular footballer by any means. However, he is decent on the ball, and I think what we're seeing kind of developing here is that he is very similar to McTominay, but he's probably just a slightly better version, and he's got more quality on the ball in terms of close control, press resistance, things like that. Now, on top of this, talking about that close control, he also likes to dribble forward with the ball. So as well as making these runs off the ball in behind, he'll also be happy to get the ball here and then let's carry possession forward. Now, that isn't something we really associate with the current United team. However, if we rewind to last year and look at Ten Hag's tactics at Ajax, this is something that Ryan Gravenberch actually done a lot. He was regularly kind of dropping into this deep position here and then carrying the ball forward for his team. So perhaps Ten Hag is looking for someone like Rabiot to come in and do the same. McTominay's okay at it, but he's not great. But again, this is something that Rabiot thrives at, and it is his strength as a player. Here we can see he picks the ball up, he's under a bit of pressure, but he just barges him off the ball so easily. He just uses that bit of muscle. He's about 6'2" tall, he's got good strength as a player, but importantly he's got that technical quality with the ball at his feet. So he can carry the ball forward, and he is comfortable doing so. And again, that is very much what we've seen from McTominay, except from McTominay the quality hasn't been there. So in possession, I think Rabiot is very, very similar to McTominay. He's like a better version of it, basically. So, with that in mind, whilst this isn't a transfer to get particularly excited about, I do sort of get why United are doing it, because it's reasonably cheap in today's market, although I still think it's too expensive, but actually it's not too bad a price. And it's an upgrade on the starting 11. Currently McTominay is playing in this role, and he's not doing it very well. I think Rabiot could come in at a cheap price, and do the job better than what McTominay does. So surely it has to be a good signing. On top of that, he does help off the ball as well. Now, here we can see he presses Luka Modric. He kind of wins this ball and it ricochets over here. But again, he goes and challenges that ball, wins this ball again, and then carries the ball down the line before putting it across into the box. And also, we can see these defensive numbers when we look at his FB ref report. And this is probably where he really excels as a player. Yes, he's good at carrying the ball, but it's what he does off the ball which I think is quite impressive. His pressures in the 83rd percentile, his tackles in the 85th, and his blocks in the 88th, which are all very good numbers. And this is why, particularly those pressures, I say I don't think he should play as the 6 in here. He's not really someone to like hold position and disrupt the play. However, if he's given this role as a one-sided midfielder, then he is very happy to press. And we saw that in those France pictures that we were looking at a minute ago, and I think it suits him. So I think from a defensive point of view, he would be quite good for this Ten Hag team as an 8. However, the issue is if we look at the numbers here on the ball, it's really underwhelming. The 29th percentile for passes attempted, the 55th percentile for pass completion, and just the 14th percentile for progressive passes, which means 86% of midfielders in Europe's top 5 leagues play more progressive passes per 90 minutes. And I think that's where the concern lies amongst United fans, and I completely understand it because United do need this progressive passer, but perhaps the 8 doesn't necessarily have to be that. So kind of to summarise, now this is a bit of a weird video because I wasn't expecting Rabiot to be a player that I was talking about this summer. I was more than prepared to talk about a lot of different midfielders this year. Rabiot probably wasn't one of them. However, overall, if we kind of put him next to McTominay, I think Rabiot is going to come in and play that sort of role. I don't think he's the 6. If he is the 6, then I'm really concerned. But if he's the 8, I think he's an upgrade on McTominay, which is what United need. I think it's an okay signing. He'll help off the ball, which is important. He's decent on the ball. He is an upgrade. Overall, I think it's just about a good signing, as long as it's not the only signing, because United desperately still need a 6 at this football club. If they don't get that, it doesn't matter who is signed as an 8, because they're not going to get the ball without a 6. So United have to prioritise someone here. Is it Frenkie de Jong? Is it Ruben Neves? I'm not sure. I'm not sure who it needs to be, who it's going to be. But just focusing on Rabiot, if he comes into a team and McTominay makes his way to the bench, then I think Manchester United have improved their starting 11. And that is something that they have to do. So I guess it's kind of a good move-ish, sort of. I don't know, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I think I probably already know the tone of the comments because a lot of people really don't want this move to happen. But I hope kind of today I've kind of shown some of the reasons why it can work. It's nothing exciting, it's not groundbreaking, it doesn't get United, quote, back, but it does slightly improve the starting 11. I think there's much better targets out there, don't get me wrong, I really do. But this looks like the one that's going to happen. It's an okay signing, it's really nothing more than that. It slightly improves the team, so I guess that's a good thing. But yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.